Hello everybody. So we have been discussing the WH question form for the last two classes and we are going to continue the same discussion even in today's session. So before that we have one more thing to do, that is to learn or to know the meaning of a new word that I gave you in the previous class. So what was the word that I gave you? Fatigue. So what do you mean by fatigue? Fatigue is, so how do you spell that? Fatigue. Fatigue is extreme tiredness or to cause to feel exhausted. Sometimes you might have used this word, I'm feeling exhausted. So in the same way, extreme, tiredness caused by some, extreme physical work. So how do we or how can we use this word in a sentence? We can say that she was fatigued by the constant questioning. She felt very tired, extremely tired by the constant or continuous questioning. Or he was grey with fatigue. He was extremely tired. He was grey with fatigue. She was shivering with fatigue. She was shivering because of tiredness. So in this way we can use the word fatigue. So now without wasting much time, let's get back to our discussion. So in the last class, what did we learn in the last class? I hope you remember and I hope you are following all the classes, because as I said, in the examination point of view, these are very important. So it will be there for all your exams, and especially more than an exam, it will help you even in your life, right? When you communicate with someone or when you want to ask, question with someone, definitely these will help us or help everyone. So that is the reason that we must learn question forming. So now let's begin our today's session. As I said, in the previous session we learned how to frame WH question if a subject of a sentence gets underlined. So I hope you understood that, and today we are going to learn how to frame WH question if the object of a sentence gets underlined. As I said, framing WH question for a subject of a sentence, that is very easy compared to this one. Because of course I'm not, scaring you off. This is also easy, but there are a few things that we need to keep in our mind while framing WH question for the object of the sentence. So now let's list out what are the things that we need to keep in our mind. Okay. The first thing, when you see the sentence, just read them carefully. Okay, look at the first sentence here. The play was interesting. So here I have underlined interesting. That is the object of this first sentence. As I said, the first thing that you need to do, you have to analyze the sentence. Analyze a sentence, given sentence. Then find out the helping verb in a sentence. Can you identify the helping verb in this given sentence? So here the play is the subject and interesting is the object, and now remaining word is was, and was is helping verb, right? So here helping verb is was in the given sentence. Yes, the second point, finding or identifying helping verb in a given sentence. So the next point that you have to remember or note whether there is a helping verb or not. And again remember, I hope you remember the structure of WH question. So recall it. So you have to chant, you have to keep chanting that. It is like a mantra. So here WH, and then there should be helping verb or modal verb, and then main verb or main object. Object, that is enough. Object, right? So this is the structure will not change. Okay, that will be the same for WH question. As I said, the beginning or the first thing that you have to do, you have to analyze it and then identify a helping or modal verb in a sentence. Okay, yes, we have a helping verb here, auxiliary verb here, that is was. And now next one. The third point, identify the tense. So here, if there are helping verb, then it becomes easy for you. You need not do anything much. In case you don't find any helping verb, then how do you frame WH question? As I said, after WH there should be helping verb or modal verb or modal verb. So here, in case in the given sentences here, the sentences that I have written here, you can find helping verb in all these sentences, right? Look at this. In the first sentence you have was, that is a helping verb, and then you have are, and in the third sentence you have is, and in the fourth sentence you have is. In case you don't find helping verbs, it could be be form or have form. You don't find them in a sentence. Then what do? You cannot frame a WH question without helping verb. That is a rule. There must be helping verb after WH. For that, when you don't have helping verb in a given sentence, then we have to add the right form of do. Don't get confused. Only if you don't find helping verb in a given sentence, then you have to write do according to the tense of that sentence. In case, again I am repeating, in case you don't find helping verb or modal verb in a given sentence, then you have to add or write the right form of the do. There are three forms, right? Do, does, and in the past tense we use did. So you have to use do form verb according to the tense of the given sentence, right? So in case, so how do we identify the tense of the sentence, given sentence? How do we identify that? As I said, you have to identify the verb there. Verb is Kriya Pada, action word. For instance, let me give you an example. In case you find verb write, in case, just assume that or just imagine that there is no helping verb in a given sentence and you have to identify the main verb there, and you identify the main verb in a given sentence, and that is write. Just assume. In case you find only write, then you have to add do. Okay, after WH you have to write do. In case the verb is writes, then it takes does. It is very simple. Remember this. In case yes is added to the main verb, then it takes does. Only when if you don't find helping verb or while adding right form of the do. So we'll work on that. Okay. So now in case you find wrote, then it becomes did. For past tense you have to write did. So these are the main points that you have to keep in your mind while framing WH question if the object of the sentence gets underlined. Okay, so is that clear? I hope you understood this. Now let's frame WH question for these given sentences. Okay, now look at the first sentence here. As I said, the play was interesting. Interesting. So what does this line or the sentence is talking about? So this is talking about manner. So when we talk about manner or when we need information about manner, then which is the right WH word? What? Can we write here what was the play or which was the play? That would be wrong, right? So hey gittu, in Kannada we say hey gittu. So what is the right WH word for that? That is how. So now you have to write how, and then after WH there should be helping verb or modal verb. So after how we have to write verb. So just identify the helping verb or any verb. Is there a helping verb? Yes, that is was. So how was, then write the play. Okay, how was the play? How was the play? Simple, right? So how, and then they should be was, and then they should be subject, right? So how was the play? And then now look at the second sentence here. They are leaving tonight. As I said, remember, so here after WH there should be helping verb and then there should be subject. Okay, remember, they are leaving tonight. Tonight, what does that suggest? Tonight, is that a place or time? Time. So whenever we talk about time, then the right WH word is when. So you have to write when. We have already put the right WH word and then there should be helping verb. Is there a helping verb? Yes, that is are. Then write are. When are. And then after are there should be subject. Subject. So what is the subject here? They. They. So when are they leaving? When are they leaving? A small thing again. Remember here. So WH, helping or modal verb, and then there should be subject and then object. This is the structure. Okay, this is very easy as I said. When are. So you have to invert. See, this is simple. After writing WH, then you have to invert the subject and verb of that sentence. Right. So this is subject. I have written that after are. So look at this structure. They is a subject and then comes helping verb. But while framing question, you have to write first WH and then you have to write are. And then you have to write they. So you have to invert the subject and verb while framing WH question. Simple as that. Same here. How? This is the WH and then look at this. Was and play. Here it becomes was the play. And here they are they? Right. So when are they leaving? The answer, tonight. Look at the third sentence. Try to frame WH question now. Okay. She is writing a letter. A letter. Which category does this belong to? Place, time, thing, object. Yes, of course, we can consider that as a thing or an object. So it takes what? What? So after what, just invert the subject and verb here. This is very simple. So do you find any helping verb there in this given sentence? Yes, that is. And what is the subject here? She. So it becomes is she. And before that we have written what. So what, and then there should be is. What is she? What is she writing? What is she writing? Look at the last sentence here. Mara is catching fish. Again, I have underlined fish, which is the object of this sentence. Now, fish again, we can take what? Okay, what? What? Invert subject and verb. So it becomes here in the sentence that is given, Mara is. So while framing a question, it becomes is Mara. So what is Mara? What is Mara catching? Simple, isn't it? So what is Mara catching? Just follow the structure. WH and then helping or modal verb, and then there should be subject and then verb. Okay, or just object. Main verb or main object. So this is the structure. Okay. So WH and then helping verb and then subject and then main verb or main object. Okay. This is how you need to follow. So now let's look at a sentence without any helping verb. Okay. I'll rub this. So in all these sentences we had helping verbs. So now let's write some sentences which do not have helping verbs. For example, the king collects taxes. So I have written a sentence here and you have to write taxes. Taxes is underlined here. So now you have to frame WH question as to get the underlined words as answer. Now what you have to do, the first thing is analyze the sentence, and the second one you have to identify if there are any helping verb or modal verbs. So do you find any helping verbs here? No. Right, the king is subject and collects is main verb and then taxes, that is object. So when you don't have helping verb, what we have to do? We have to write the right form of do. So now, which would be the right form of do, which can be suitable for this sentence? As I said, identify the main verb here in this sentence. So which is the main verb here? That is collects. As I said, when yes is added to a main verb, then it takes does. Right. So this is very simple to identify. Now taxes. Which is the right WH word for this? Taxes. What? Right. Write the WH word, question word. We have written what, and after that there should be verb, right, helping verb. So now we don't have be form or modal verb, so we have to write the right form of the do. So we have taken does. Since here this is collects, which means it should take does, and after does there should be subject. So which is the subject here? The king. What does the king? Then there should be verb. Remember, once you write does here, again you should not write collects. Okay, so you have to remove this yes and just write collect. What does the king collect? The king collects taxes. I hope you understood this. Remember, once you write does, you should not again write collects here. It should be collect. In case you write yes here, that will be wrong answer. You lose 1 mark here. Even adding only one letter, that can cost you 1 mark in the examination. So please be careful while writing this, especially while framing or using do form verbs. Okay, once you write does, again you should not add yes to the verb. It should be only collect, because we have already written does here. Again, no need of writing collects. So what does the king collect? Okay, now let me write the same sentence in a different tense. Now, the king collected taxes. Same sentence, but what have I changed here? The tense. tense of the sentence is changed here. So how do you find that? So if you are able to identify the verb, then you can easily identify the tense of that sentence. Okay, in case if there is collects and collect, which means that is in the present tense, simple present tense. If there is collected, which means that is in the simple past tense. Collected, when you add ed, that suggests the sentence or the verb is in the past tense. So now analyze the sentence. Okay, and then identify the main verb, that is collected. Collected is a main verb. So now we have to add, there is no helping verb or modal verb, and that is why we must add right form of the do here. Now again, what? Taxes, what? So what? Now do form. Collects takes does, collected takes did. Simple. Just remember this, last D. Okay, if there is past form of the verb in a sentence, then it takes did. If there is yes added to the main verb, then it becomes does. So now, what did, subject, what did the king? What did the king? Now, what you have to write, collected or collect? The same rule applies even for here. Okay, even here, look at this. Once you write does, you should not write collects, only collect. In the same way, once you write did, again, you should not write past form of the verb. It has to be only collect. Okay, what did the king collect? Not collected. I hope you are able to follow what I am saying. Again, once you write did, do not write the past form of the verb. Don't write V2. Okay, just write V1. So what did the king collect? Not collected. I hope this is clear. So now, let me write one more. I'll take the same words here. The kings. This is singular present tense, this is singular past tense, and now this is plural. The kings collect. So when the subject is plural, then the verb must be plural. Remember, subject verb agreement. So the kings collect taxes. Not one king but so many kings. Now analyze the sentence here. Yes, you have analyzed. I hope so. And now identify the main verb here. Which is the main verb? That is collect. So now we have already used did and does, which is remaining now do. So always remember, if the verb takes yes form, then it takes does. If the verb takes the past form, ed or V3 forms, and then it takes V2 form, then it takes did. If it is written as it is, for example, collect in the V1 form, which means it must take do. Do. So, what do the kings collect? What do the kings collect? So, this is how we frame WH question if there is no helping verb. Okay, especially while framing questions to the objects of a sentence. Okay, I hope this is clear. Do you need some more examples? Okay, let me give you one more example. Look at this sentence. Mara caught a rabbit. Analyze it. Analyze the sentence. Identify if there are any helping verbs or modal verbs. Do you find any? No. Right. When you don't have helping verb or modal verb, then we have to identify or look at or focus on the main verb of a sentence. So here, which is the main verb? Mara is subject. So caught is the main verb. Right. So what is the present tense of caught? Catch. So that you have to remember. Look at this. Catch and caught. Catch and caught. Don't say catched. Okay. Same follows here. Put. Okay. Put. Cut. Hit. Don't say putted, cutted, hitted. Okay. That's a wrong usage. This will remain same in all the forms. Put, even in the past tense. Cut, even in the past tense. Hit and hit. So here, so Mara caught a rabbit. So the main verb here is caught, which means that is in the past tense. So what is the right do form which is used for the past tense or which is used in the past tense? That is did. Remember it, did. So now, rabbit, usually we use what, right? What, and then there should be helping verb, do form verb. So it becomes what did. What did. Then there should be subject. What did Mara? Then you have already used or we have already used did here. Again we cannot write the past form of the verb as I said. So now we have to take the present form of this given verb here. So which is the present form of caught? Catch. Okay, so what did Mara catch? Don't write caught. Don't write what did Mara caught. That is wrong again. So we have already written did. So now we have to write the V1 of caught. So it becomes catch. So what did Mara catch? Is that clear? So now let me change the tense here. Mara catches a rabbit. So this is how you need to practice. Take a sentence, then change them into different tenses and then frame questions. That's how we learn. So now Mara catches a rabbit. There is no helping verb or modal verb and we have to identify the main verb here. So which is the main verb here? And that is catches. So as I said, when we add yes to the main verb, then it takes does. So how do we frame question now? What does Mara catch? What does Mara catch? Why didn't we write catches? Remember the rules. Once we write does, again there should be V1 and that is catch. So this is how you need to remember these question points or rules. Look at this, the first sentence. The schoolboy loves to rise in a summer morn. So now, in a summer morn, what does that suggest? Is it a place or time? It suggests a time, right? So when we talk about time, then we should write when. We have written the WH word, that is when, and then there should be verb. Is there any helping verb there? Is there any helping verb? No, right? When we do not have helping verb or modal verb, then we have to add the right form of do. So now identify the main verb here. So which is the main verb here? Loves. right, loves to rise. So here that is the main verb. So the schoolboy loves to rise in a summer morn. So now, when, then do form. As I said, when there is yes, then it takes does. So now, when does, subject. When does the schoolboy, then there should be verb. We have already written does. Again, we should not write loves. It has to be love. So when does the schoolboy love to rise? Question mark. When does the schoolboy love to rise? Look at this second sentence here. The narrator took off his coat. The narrator took off his coat. Is there any helping verb? No. Right. Now, write the WH word. His coat. Coat again, thing. So it must take what? What? So what, and then there should be verb. There is no helping verb. Look at the main verb here. Which is the main verb? Took. Took is the main verb. And which is the V1 or the present form of took? That is take. Take is the present form. Took is the past form. The narrator took off his coat. What? So took, we have to add the right form of do. So for past tense we use did. So after what, there should be did. Now what did? After what did, there should be subject. So what did the narrator? What did the narrator? I hope you are able to see this, or just listen to me. What did the narrator? And then there should be verb. You cannot write took off. As I said, you have already written did there. Then you have to write the present form of took. That is take. So what did the narrator take off? What did the narrator take off? What did the narrator take off? His coat. Answer is his coat. Look at the next sentence. The people looked at the narrator like hungry wolves. The people looked at the narrator like hungry wolves. So now, so which is the right WH word for that? Manner. This is talking about manner. So when we talk about manner, then there should be how. We wrote WH word here. Now, what is next? Helping verb. Look at the main verb here. As I said, there is no helping verb. So just look at the main verb. Which is the main verb here? Looked. Is that in the past tense or present tense? ED. Present tense is look. Right. Present tense is look. Looked is past tense, which means it has to take did. Right. So how did, then subject. How did the people, then there should be verb. You cannot write looked, but you have to write look. So how did the people look at the narrator? How did the people look at the narrator? So the people looked at the narrator like hungry wolves. So the question, how did the people look at the narrator? So now, look at the last sentence here. Mara sprang off like a puck. Again, like, manner. So, how? Sprang is past tense, spring is present. Past form of spring is sprang, which means it has to take did. How did, and then subject, Mara. How did Mara, sprang becomes spring here. We have already written did, and that is why again we cannot write sprang, it has to be spring. How did Mara spring off? Spring off is jump. So how did Mara spring off? Like a buck. That is the answer. So I hope you understood how to frame WH question if the object of a sentence gets underlined. I hope this is enough for today's class, and we'll discuss some of the questions which are prescribed in your workbook in the next class. Okay, but keep practicing this. So now it is a time to give you word of the day. So today's word audacious. Audacious. Get the meaning of this word. I know that you're all audacious. Get the meaning of this word. And I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.